Okay, so welcome back, y'all. We are going to do a overview flip of, I think, 1 through 5 in my Psalms study, because you guys seem to really enjoy that. All right, so we're just going to look at each of the Psalms and my notes and point out anything that I feel like spoke to me during the study. So Psalms 1 is a wisdom psalm. Opposite, so blessed is the man, the opposite of the curse, who doesn't want to walk in the counsel of the wicked. And the wicked here is an unbeliever. In the NIV, when it says, nor stand on the path of sinners, nor sit in the seat of scoffers, scoffers is translated in the NIV as mockers. So verse 1, blessed or happy, refers to the joy and satisfaction that comes from knowing that one is right with God, even though the world may bring difficulties. And in verse 3, it says, he will be like a tree planted by the streams of water that produces its fruit in its season, whose leaf also does not wither. Whatever he does shall prosper. So this is referring to the righteous. The righteous are not sinless, but seek to maintain a right relationship with the Lord. Yahweh here, for Yahweh knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked shall perish. Yahweh, to be a self-revealed name of God, Lord. And Yahweh, at least in this Bible translation, is used a lot. Psalm 2, let's see. Why do the nations rage and the peoples plot a vain thing? Conspire is another word that's used. It is a royal psalm, and it points to Christ. The anointed is also the Messiah. Let's break their bonds apart and cast their cords from us. Let's see. Zion is Jerusalem. Verse 7, I will tell the decree. Yahweh said to me, you are my son. Today I have become your father. And this is God's royal son, Messiah, in Hebrew, speaks of the current ruler, but points to Christ. Adopted son of the father, David. And blessed can also mean happy. Let's see. For Psalm 3 is a prayer for deliverance from enemies. Selah is Hebrew, no known meaning, only appears in the Psalms, maybe like a musical term. Let's see. So Psalm 3, in 2 Samuel 15 through 16, Absalom's revolt and David's flight from Jerusalem. So this is like a connecting verse to what it's talking about here. Let's see. Psalmist is confident of divine support and protection. Holy Hill is the Temple Mount. Here, when it says, arise, Yahweh, save me, my God, for you have struck all my enemies on the cheekbone. You have broken the teeth of the wicked. Foes have spoken against the psalmist of the equivalent retribution, and you heard me talk about this before in another psalm, that this idea in the Old Testament of equivalent retribution is mentioned more than once. So foes who have spoken against the psalmist of the equivalent retribution is their organs of speech are destroyed. So it's like cutting out the tongue. One of those very dark things from the Old Testament. But basically speaking blasphemy, speaking against somebody, the equivalent retribution is, if you're speaking blasphemy, is to cut out your tongue. May point to the king as the speaker. May your blessings be on your people, Selah. May point to the king as speaker. All right, moving on to Psalm 4. It is a prayer for deliverance, a psalm of trust. In verse 2, it says, you sons of men, how long shall my glory be turned to dishonor? Will you love vanity and seek after falsehood? And that is the worship of other gods, pursuit of vanity. Let's see. Verse 3, but know that Yahweh has set apart for himself who he is godly. See, but know that Yahweh has set apart for himself him who is godly. Yahweh will hear when I call to him. Godly could be generic or a specific group of people. Verse 5, offer the sacrifices of righteousness, not to the other gods. Put your trust in Yahweh. Verse 6, many say, who will show us any good? Good could be like the harvest bounty. So many say, He will show us any good. Yahweh, let the light of your face shine on us. And the shine on us, shining face of God, is a visible expression of divine benevolence. All right. And then the last one we're going to do for today is Psalm 5, which is a prayer for access to the temple entrance liturgies. Give ear to my words, Yahweh, consider my meditation. In another translation, CSB, it is used the word sighing, consider my sighing, which is just kind of like, I think is showing emotion there. Not a personal vendetta, but a prayer that God will fulfill his promise to God's people. Hear Yahweh, in the morning you will hear my voice. In the morning I will lay my request before you and will watch expectantly. The morning is the time for divine assistance after the perils of the night. Okay, so this is probably one of those times where we get that idea that rising early with God, praying in the morning is like a holier thing than praying any other time of day. And there is something to be said. I know I misspelled this word badly. I know there is something to be said about starting your day with God and praying first thing. But the idea of this verse isn't that necessarily the morning is a better time to pray, but it's the morning is the time for divine assistance after the perils of the night. So, I definitely get on my soapbox with this, but I definitely feel like, at least for me as a child, I was taught that rising early and praying early and spending the first moments of your day with God is the most important thing to do, or is the holiest way that you could be praying. Like, you're a better Christian if you do it this particular way. But I don't think that necessarily applies, and that is definitely pulling this verse out of context, I think, when they refer to the morning. Definitely you can wake up and, in the first moments of your day, like say, God, I give you this day. May you be with me today. Pray to him in your first moments, in the darkness, before your day starts. But the morning isn't going to work for quiet time with God for every human being on the planet. Everybody's schedules are different. Like, I wake up at 5:30 to be at work by 6:30, and I can't get up any earlier to spend my quiet time with God in the morning. So I do my quiet time with God at the end of my day before I go to bed. So it all just depends on when you're the most alert, when you're the most awake, when you have time to separate yourself and be quiet. What is the quietest part of your day? Is it after the kids are, like, if you're a mom, is it after the kids are to bed? Is there a certain time? Is it your lunch break at work that you can step away and have some time? Is it the first thing in the morning? I mean, it just depends on every person's different. And I think the important thing is that you're spending time with God. So I'll get off my soapbox there. All right, so verses 4-8, the wicked are denied access to the temple, but the psalmist may enter. And then here it says, lead me, Yahweh, in your righteousness because of my enemies. Make your way straight before my face. And then verse 9, slander or false testimony, for there's no faithfulness in their mouth. So once again, speaking of blasphemy or false testimony with their mouth. And then verses 9-10, we now have fulfillment in Christ and pray for our enemies and for Christ's future return. Let's see. And then 11 and 12 is in reference to divine protection. Let's see. Yahweh will surround him with favor as with a shield. Okay, so that is the kind of overview, insights and notes and thoughts on Psalms 1-5 in my Spiral Bible Psalm study. So stay tuned and we will do Psalms 6-9 because I already did 10 in the previous video. But definitely hit that like button if you're enjoying these particular videos. And definitely hit the subscribe button if you would like to continue and see more videos like this from me. We are going to continue probably doing 5 Psalms at a time as I go through my Psalm study. So got a lot to go through and dig into. So if you like all of this, then definitely hit that subscribe button. Okay, guys, hope you're having a great week. I post these on Fridays, I think. So if you're watching this on a Friday, Hope you have an amazing weekend, and you get some rest, and you get to spend some time with family, and hopefully fellowship with other believers. So have a good one. Okay, guys, can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye.